Many students today attempt to conquer top-tier exams while simultaneously running side hustles or teaching others. You can see the physical reality of this hustle in students studying on the pavement, surrounded by textbooks, pouring every ounce of energy into a singular hope for success. This dedication often stems from a specific herd mentality. Students listen to online authorities demanding 16-hour workdays, operating under the assumption that following a generic, punishing schedule is the only viable path forward. Eventually, the body and mind reach a breaking point. When failure inevitably arrives, society offers a convenient way to dismiss it, labeling the result as bad luck or a lack of favorable destiny. For those seeking a way to cope with the stress, the common advice is to meditate. This often leads to a formalized posture where people sit rigidly with their eyes closed, actively struggling against their own thoughts and creating a new source of frustration. Chronic burnout persists because we operate on broken definitions of ambition, luck, and peace. No amount of effort can overcome a strategy built on false premises. The first major illusion is the belief that ambition requires us to execute every available opportunity at the same time. Secondary pursuits, such as teaching in a crowded classroom, are only justifiable if they actively reinforce the specific skills required for your primary goal. A secondary task shifts into a mental burden the moment it begins to steal significant time and energy from your main objective. At that point, it must be dropped. True focus relies on the courage to reject herd expectations and ruthlessly eliminate any distraction that does not serve the primary target. Even with distractions removed, failure remains common, often leading to the second illusion, the tendency to blame a lack of success on bad luck. This funnel chart shows millions of inputs filtering to a tiny fraction. In a race with millions of competitors, failure is the baseline statistical reality. Falling short represents a mathematical certainty playing out, rather than a curse of destiny. Contrast this with actual bad luck, an unpredictable, unavoidable anomaly. This is like following every traffic rule and still being hit by a speeding driver. Accepting the statistical reality of the games we choose to play strips away the victimhood of bad luck. It allows us to regain intellectual control over our path. Reclaiming that control requires internal clarity, yet many fall for the third illusion, viewing meditation as a physical chore, involving a battle against one's own mind. Meditation describes the pure quality of attention you give to the present moment, regardless of whether your eyes are open or closed. Any activity connecting body, mind, and soul completely becomes a meditation. You see this in the absolute precision of a classical dancer. This state of flow naturally silences mental noise. It achieves peace without requiring the forced suppression of your thoughts. Forcing yourself to meditate creates internal resistance, while applying absolute attention to an activity you naturally connect with creates genuine mindfulness. When we operate on false definitions of ambition, luck, and focus, we create constant friction between our expectations and reality. This friction is the source of impatience. Cultivating true patience requires a conscious transition. We must move from gross observation of the outside world to a subtle observation of the mind of self. Gross observation begins by simply sitting in an environment with digital distraction. You actively notice immediate physical realities, like the hum of an air conditioner or the specific temperature of the air. This diagram shows turning intense focus inward. You observe the brain's mechanics as a single thought forms and branches out. This lets you catch the exact internal sentence spoken before it triggers an overwhelming emotional reaction, like stress or anger. Success in high-stakes environments ultimately relies on the mastery of absolute, unblinking attention, not on punishing workdays or the hope for good luck.